Laudetur Jesus Christus. Welcome to today's edition of the Domestic Church. Now, last Monday, we reflected particularly on the need during the present situation in the church for all of us to take individual responsibility for ourselves in educating ourselves, orthodox and authentic Catholic tradition, in order that we may stay on the straight and narrow path toward the realization of our salvation in Jesus Christ. Now, part of the purpose of this program is to offer practical advice for the Orthodox Catholic who wants to remain within the authentic tradition of the Church and practice of the faith. And so tonight what I'd like to do is introduce to you our new look website, which is still kind of in progress, but quite a bit is now substantially revealed and available to you. And so I just would like to talk through some aspects of the website. So hopefully this will work. We'll see. Yeah, here we go. Oh, no, I want to do it that way. That's it. Or even full screen. Pretty much. Okay. So there is the new look website. That's available to view at www.theoldroman.com. That's www.theoldroman.com. What I will do is put that on the screen for you. There we are. Now, as you can see there, you can see the Old Roman logo and the menu. Now, next to the title at the top there, you have the Latin Semper Ubique et ab omnibus, which is translated for you in the middle of the screen, that which has been believed always, everywhere, and by all. That, according to St. Vincent of Lerins, is the definition of the Catholic faith, that which has always been believed everywhere and by all. And if you remember last week's episode, I said that it's possible for us, through the wonders of modern technology today, to be able to research for ourselves what is authentic Catholic faith and praxis, simply at our fingertips by using any search engine. It doesn't have to be Google, it can be Bing or Yahoo or whatever your default is, but you can read for yourselves like never before all the homilies, treatises, readings of the Church Fathers, of the great sainted theologians of the Church throughout the ages, the lives, the prayers of the saints, and the wisdom and mysticism and lived experience of literally hundreds of thousands of Christians through the ages. This is all now wonderfully made available generally for us via the internet. You just have to search, that's all you have to do. And the purpose and the necessity, of course, of doing that is to ensure that what you believe and how you practice your faith is consistent with that which we know has enabled the salvation of those who have gone before us. Because what we believe about the saints, but they are saved. And it is, of course, our hope that in like turn we ourselves will be able to enjoy the beatific vision with them. So, as we said last week, there's that great rich treasury available to us online to make ourselves avail of. Now, the Old Roman website will itself try to be something of a portal, something of a means, a way, a route for you to access that rich treasury of information that's available on the internet. And gradually the website will build sections to gather together, as it were, in one place. Things like the writings of the Church Fathers and their sermons and treatises, like the prayers and mysticism and spirituality of the saints, so that you will be able, as it were, to go to this website and access that information for your own edification. Now, if I can enlarge what we're seeing there, and again, if I go here, you can see there is a menu. Under the title The Old Roman at the top there, you have Home, About, Daily, Features, Headlines, Latest, Schedule, and Weekly Bulletins. I just want to explain each of those titles. So Home brings you always back to this home page, which incidentally, if we scroll down, has a button in the middle there where you can click Latest, and that will take you to the latest things available on the website. But also too, if you scroll down, you can see the latest things that have been posted, and these will range from devotional, cultural, feature articles, headlines, whatever is latest will be made available there. So it's a good place to sort of just go straight to the home page and then get the very latest info on what's going on. But if you click, as we said up here, if you click on that button there, Latest, it will also take you to the latest page, which you can see is highlighted there in the menu bar. And if you scroll down past the logo there, again you can find all the latest articles, devotionals, etc. That have been posted there in chronological order. Okay, there's also the option there to enter your email address and be notified as well of these latest postings. So that's latest. If we go to About, we can click on Programs, and again under the logo you can find quick access to our daily devotional programs. So remember that we broadcast every day the traditional Latin Mass, the Angelus with Bishop Richard Challoner's meditation for every day in the year, and the Angelus and Rosary in the evening. And here you can see the YouTube buttons, and these will play in that screen. You can have the option, of course, to go direct to the channel if you want to, but you can play here the latest edition of these programs. Now unfortunately, as some of you will know, this morning's Mass is not available, but hopefully it's very rare that that happens, but just now and again things let us down. Modern technology is great when it works, not so great when it doesn't. So that screen highlighted there, that will play whatever the last Mass was that was broadcast. Likewise here, so if you missed the midday Angelus but you want to hear Bishop Challoner's meditation, which are always worth listening to, then you can find the last edition, the last recording there to play, and likewise for the Angelus and the Rosary. I do hope, if you have missed the live Rosary, you can of course watch the recording of it in your own time and pray along with that, and then you will have the benefit of seeing the different intentions come up on the screen, so that you can still pray the same intentions that we as a group were praying together live. You can still pray them from the recorded version. So I do hope some of you will avail yourselves of that. And likewise, as well as watching the last broadcast of these programs, you can also of course watch them live. So when they are live, on this page, if you click on the YouTube, the relevant YouTube icon, you will be straight into the live broadcast. So those are the daily devotionals available usually every day on this channel. And then if you scroll down, current series, so these are the other programs that we regularly broadcast at the moment. Of course, the domestic church, this one is here, and of course if I press that, then it would take me right now to this very edition that is outgoing live. If I press that tomorrow, it'll take me back to this recorded broadcast. So likewise with Old Romans Unscripted, which of course is our Saturday night current affairs discussion. If you missed that last Saturday, you can watch the recording there. And also too, if you would like to hear the homily for the day, but without having to scroll backwards and forwards through the whole Mass, then you can find the excerpted homily from the Mass in the morning there, and you can watch the recording of it. And then of course, if you're interested, you can also see past series from this channel. So some of you may recall Lumen Gentium, which was reflections on conferences on the liturgy from Advent through to Candlemas, so you can rewatch those if you'd like to. You may recall from last year the series on vocations. All the conferences can be found in one place there, and likewise some of the incidental conferences from last year, which I titled Wandering Bishop. You can find those there, and the intention will be to eventually put up other past series as well. So it's all on the programs page, which you can find under the About menu. Alternatively, if you click on ORTV, that will take you to the YouTube channel, so you can find all of these programs again there. Also, you can visit the Patreon page for Old Roman TV, and if you'd like to, and we'd be very grateful if you did, you could sign up as a Patreon patron, signing up to give just a few pounds a month subscription, which enables us to develop things and resources like this website. And also too, you can find our Facebook page and like it and follow us on Facebook. Here under daily, there is another button there, Daily Mass Propers. Now I know that some viewers don't have the St Andrew's Daily Missal, which is the one we particularly recommend to follow the broadcasts of Daily Mass. One of course could use any old missal prior to 1955. The beauty of the St Andrew's Daily Missal is that edition is from I think 1940s. Another very popular layperson's edition of the Missal is called the Fatherless Saints, Missal, which does exactly the same thing as the St Andrew's Daily Missal. They contain all the prayers, all the readings, the order of Mass and everything. And they also have very good historical footnotes and explanations as to what's going on in the liturgy and its relevance to or from the history of the Church. So the St Andrew's Daily Missal or the Father Lazante's Missal, in fact we will post on the website links for you to be able to buy those as well, because praise God, they are available once more to buy in new editions, but they are simply reprints of those older editions prior to 1948 and 1955. So we recommend those particular hand missals. But if you haven't got one of those missals, then you can find here, and if I click on Daily Mass Propers, you can find there the readings and the prayers for the broadcast Daily Mass. And these are made available from midnight of the day. So the Mass, of course, is broadcast at 8:30 a.m. But you can find the Mass propers before then, and they will be listed here. And if you click where it says continue reading on the relevant Mass, you will find there a summary of the Mass, and also information about any saints that are celebrated or commemorated. You will also find a window for the Mass itself, so you can watch it live, or you can watch the recording later. But if you watch it live, then you can also follow it here with the translations of the Mass propers and readings and prayers. As you can see, they are all there. So that's under Daily Propers. But if we go to Daily itself, there you will also find the daily devotionals that we broadcast on this channel. So you will find the Daily Mass, you will find there the meditation from Bishop Challoner, and incidentally here you can play back the recording from earlier if you would prefer to listen to it, or you can read it for yourself. So printed there is also Bishop Challoner's meditations. That's probably not a bad thing to do, because Bishop Challoner, of course, was an 18th century English bishop, and so his prose, we might say, is a little antiquated, and I do my best when reading him aloud to make his words accessible. I try to get the phrasing right, but sometimes you may find it useful to read the wording for yourself to be absolutely certain of understanding him. And also there, likewise, you can find the Rosary recitation, and in like fashion, if you click on it, you can find the recording or the live when it's live, but it also tells you which mysteries we will be meditating on. So that's all under Daily. So you press Daily for today's devotionals, and Daily Mass propers for the readings and lectures, for the readings and prayers of the Mass translated into English, that you can follow then along with the Mass. Now the next menu here is features, and features are articles, essays, and commentaries of interest to Catholic tradition. So here you will find various, as I said, articles and essays of interest. These are taken from reliable, that is to say, broadly orthodox and traditionalist websites. So some of them will be, as you can see, some of them are on historical things. Some of them are up to date on what's in the news. Now here also you will find devotionals. Now there is here, for example, the Novena to Our Lady of Perpetual Help, but that you can also find under devotional menu there. Now this is still new, so that's just the first posting, because the Feast of Our Lady of Perpetual Help is this coming Sunday, as it says there, on the 27th of July. And if we click on there, this takes you to a YouTube video with a guided recording of the novena, so with the prayers spoken and on the screen, and with some hymns and things as well, so you can pray along to that. So features devotional will feature things like relevant novenas and prayers of the saints and things like that. Culture under features, this is more kind of art really focus, so this will be programs of music. Here we have a particularly wonderful recording of Bach's Mass in B minor, recorded in the Netherlands. There's also there some organ concertos by Georg Händel. But here too there will be featured programs on Catholic tradition, or on things like art and music in Catholic tradition. So, so that's features, culture, and devotional. Now, if I click on headlines, this will give you from various sources around the world the latest headlines of interest to Catholic Christians. So there are all sorts of things you will find there, but the latest news, these will be found here. So headlines, so the difference between headlines and latest, headlines just gives you the news. Headlines just gives you the news, whereas latest will give you everything that has been posted on the website that day. Okay, so if you just want to know what the headlines are of the news, then go and click on headlines. If you want to know what new stuff has been posted on the website generally, then go to latest. And then of course schedule speaks for itself, hopefully. This just tells you what's on and when on Old Roman TV, and it goes by week. Our week always begins on Sunday, which of course is, for us as Christians, the first day of the week, the Lord's Day. And then if I click, for example, on this week, so week commencing the 20th of June 2021, and there it gives you day by day the date and the times of the broadcast. It also tells you which day in the liturgical calendar we are keeping or observing. So that title there, for example, or for example, as it was today, that is what the Mass would be of. Okay, and there for every day of the week. That's the schedule. And then I'm sure the weekly bulletin, that of course is the Old Roman newsletter, which goes out every Sunday at midnight, sometimes the Saturday before, it depends. But there is the archive of all the editions. So the latest edition will always be at the top. So there we are for Sunday 4 post-Pentecost. But you can see for every week going back at the moment all the way back to Easter Sunday. But that's the weekly bulletin, so you can, if you click on that, you will be able to sign up to receive that by email. But otherwise, you can go to the home page and you can scroll down and sign up there and register your email address, and you will get then both updates from the website and the weekly bulletin. Now in the weekly bulletin are various articles of interest relevant to the liturgy of the week. So if I go to this week's edition, and if I magnify that for you, because it opened in a separate window. Why did it do? Okay, right, so what I'll have to do is stop sharing that for a moment and click on this, share screen. Oh, there we go, there we are. Super. So this is the weekly bulletin available from the Old Roman, and if you subscribe to this, then you will get this direct to your inbox, to your email. I'll just magnify it a little bit more. There we go. So let me just see how that looks. Good. So there, of course, is the year in Roman numerals, 2021. That is the Sunday when it's published, so Sunday the 4th after Pentecost. It's the second volume. The volumes are per year. So we're in the second year of the Old Roman bulletin. There's the website address to take you back. But then if I scroll down, so there's a menu which tells you what's in each edition, and with handy hyperlinks, so you can just click and it will take you directly to that article. So as you can see here from the menu, for the liturgy, it tells you that Saint Severius was commemorated on last Sunday's liturgy, during last Sunday's liturgy. So if we click on this day, then we find there all we want to know about Saint Silverius. And invariably too, there is also a YouTube video. So if you don't fancy reading, then you can always watch the video. If I just go back a minute, so that was for Saint Silverius, because he was commemorated on Sunday. But also, if we scroll down here, you can find links for all the saints this week. And likewise, if you click on their name, you will find a beautiful picture of them. You will find biographical information about them, and usually you will find a video as well that you can watch about them. So that's in every email edition. Also is published, of course, the Ordo. So the Ordo here, week commencing Sunday the 20th of June. If I click on Ordo, there you can see the Ordo for the week. So this will tell you what saints' days and feast days there are this week, what the masses ought to be, and it will give you this information is basically what priests go off for when they're preparing the altar missal. So this, for example, Dominica 4 post-Pentecost, that means the fourth Sunday after Pentecost, there's a commemoration of Saint Silverius, Pope and Martyr, and the proper Mass is Dominus Illuminatio Mea. Now the brackets there, that should say G. That should read G instead of white, instead of W. But the title also gives you the liturgical colour for that day. It also gives you the class of feast. So this is so Sunday is a semi-double. Now ordinarily a semi-double would give way to, for example, a double feast. So if St. Aloysius's feast had fallen on Sunday, then the Sunday Mass would have been commemorated, and the Mass for St. Aloysius here would have been said instead, because St. Aloysius his feast classes as it outranks a semi-double. And then in here, NB, nota bene, this really is for the priests, but also for those of you who are following in a hand missal. This tells you that the second oration will be for a commemoration of St. Silverius. The third oration, because at a semi-double Mass there are always at least 3 collects. The third collect will be that of a Cunctis, which is a prayer invoking the intercession of the saints, in particular the patron saints of the chapel or oratory or parish church. And then here, so we're told, the celebrant is told that the Gloria is said, the Creed is said, and that the preface proper for the Mass is of the Holy Trinity. And as you can see, that changes each day. So St. Aloysius Gonzaga was today, and that was his Mass, Minuitio Paulo. The liturgical colour is white or gold. His feast is a double, so there are no other commemorations. And for his feast we recite the Gloria, or sing the Gloria, and the preface is of the common. It is the common preface. Now, on the next one, we see here for Tuesday, tomorrow, the 22nd, in the universal calendar, so as it were the baseline calendar for the church, tomorrow is St. Paul, Bishop and Confessor. That's actually St. Paulinus of Nola. And the proper Mass for him is Sacerdotes Dei. His feast is a double rank or double class, and the Gloria should be said or sung and the common preface used. But here there is also an alternative. In the UK, it is also St. Alban's Day. St. Alban, who was a Roman soldier and was the first Christian martyr, well, at least according to recorded history. He is the first Christian martyr of the UK, St. Alban. So in the UK, or certainly in England, his feast day takes precedence, and here we see that it is a greater double. GD means greater double. So here in this system we have SD, semi-double, D means a double, GD is a greater double. So GD is higher than a D, and therefore we are told that we have the Gloria, the Creed, and the common preface. And likewise again, we'll see that on Wednesday there are also there's also an alternative. So in the universal calendar for the church, the colour should be purple. Again, there's a mistake there. The colour should be purple for the vigil of St. John the Baptist. It's a semi-double ranked feast or liturgical office, and so there are 3 collects. One, the collect of the vigil, the second collect of Our Lady, and the third collect for the church. And we're told here there is no Gloria, so the Gloria is not recited. The common preface is to be used, and BD is code for Benedicamus Domino. So at the end of this Mass, instead of Ite Missa Est, the celebrant will say Benedicamus Domino, to which the response is still Deo gratias. It's still the usual response. It doesn't make any difference for the response, but it just indicates there to the celebrant that at the end of Mass the proper conclusion is Benedicamus Domino. Let us bless the Lord. But in the UK, and for some reason this week that didn't, if I highlight it there we can see that should have been highlighted in yellow or gold, but in the UK on Wednesday it's Saint Etheldreda, Queen, Abbess and Virgin. It's her feast day. It's a double, so it outranks the semi-double that is St. John the Baptist, the Vigil of St. John the Baptist. So in the UK she takes precedence, but there is of course here a commemoration of the Vigil, and then we're told because she's a double there wouldn't normally be other prayers, but because there is a commemoration of the Vigil, that means the second prayer of the Mass will be that commemoration, and then we're told there is a Gloria and that the preface will be of the common. And at the end of this Mass, because it doesn't tell us otherwise, the celebrant will dismiss the people Ite Missa Est, as opposed to here Benedicamus Domino. And then of course we see on Thursday in Nativitate Sancti Ioannis Baptiste, the Nativity of St. John the Baptist. Now here notice it is a DI or a D1, so that tells us this is a first class double feast, one of the highest feasts there are. And so for that then we have the Gloria, we have the Creed, and there's even a proper preface depending on the edition of the Missal. So there is a preface for St. John the Baptist. There may not be in some older editions of the Altar Missal, in which case that of the Holy Trinity would be used, because it's a high feast day. And there it goes on for the rest of the week, and then we see that next Sunday, the 27th, is the feast of the Blessed Virgin Mary of Perpetual Help, and so there is a commemoration of the 5th Sunday post-Pentecost and of the octave of St. John the Baptist. Again, likewise here you see commemoration, octave St. John the Baptist. So the Nativity of St. John the Baptist because it is a very high feast, feast of the first class. It has an octave, which means that all the masses following for 8 days, there will be a commemoration of that octave with a prayer here, a second oration. So you see these double feasts, St. William of Vercelli, abbot, on the 25th, and Saints John and Paul of Rome, martyrs. They are double feasts, and ordinarily there wouldn't be any other prayer said, but because of the octave of St. John the Baptist, there is then a second prayer commemorating that octave. And here you see that the Sunday is a greater double, so that's why it knocks out the Sunday. That's why the Sunday is only commemorated, because that would be a semi-double. And likewise, if there was nothing else on a day during an octave, the octave would be not simply commemorated, but the Mass of the octave would be said. But it also, too, in this instance, is a semi-double. And then for the celebrant here, so he knows that the second collect of the Mass will be that of the Sunday. The third collect will be of the octave of the Nativity of St. John the Baptist, and that he must say the Gloria, the Creed, the preface will be that proper to the Blessed Virgin Mary. And then there is also here PLG, that means proper last gospel. So instead of the usual last gospel, which of course is the prologue or the beginning of St. John's Gospel, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, etc., which is the usual last gospel for most masses. Because this has fallen on the Sunday gospel must always be heard. So it is heard as the last gospel instead of the usual one from St. John. So that there, PLG, proper last gospel of the Sunday, the 5th post-Pentecost. And then underneath is a handy little key that explains all those abbreviations above. So that's in every weekly edition of the Old Roman. If I click on return to menu, that would take me to the menu for the edition. Now just scroll on down here. Every week is included materials and resources such as the liturgical year. This was a 15-volume series by Dom Prosper Gouranger, who was an monk and abbot of Salem Abbey in France. And he, as you can see, in the mid-late 19th century, he compiled this 15-volume called The Liturgical Year, which goes through all the feasts and all the Sundays of the liturgical year, explaining the spirituality, the history, the prayers, the readings, etc. So these are always excerpted in this weekly bulletin, so it's well worth signing up. You can see there the subscribe button. You can subscribe there. It's free to subscribe to. You just give it your email address, and then every week on Sunday morning you will receive all this information. So here we have Dom Gouranger's writing commentary on the 4th Sunday post-Pentecost, which of course was last Sunday. And there you have all his wonderful insight about the Mass. And if we continue scrolling down, sometimes you will find other interesting materials. So this is the Society of St. Pius X's current video series on the crisis in the Church. Well worth watching. It chronicles from the 18th century to today the gradual progression of how things have become bad, we might say, in the church. So it takes you through all the philosophies of the Enlightenment and modernism, the changes to the liturgy, and so on and so forth, and explains why these things are not consistent with authentic Catholic tradition. So that's a very good series, so that's included there. Then you have today's Mass propers. So these will be for the Sunday. There's a link there. If you click on that, it will take you to the YouTube channel so you can watch the Mass. And then it gives you, as we had on the oldroman.com, it will give you the Mass propers, so all the readings and information about Sunday's Mass. So there's a link to the live Mass. You can watch the live Mass and have the readings and prayers there. And then there's a commentary on the Mass. So this is, again, Dom Gouranger's explanations of the readings and the scripture and the prayers used in the Mass. Okay, so if we go back to the main menu, and then I'll just point out here. So yes, so here we have Dom Prosper Gouranger. So his writings about the fourth Sunday after Pentecost, the propers for the Mass, an explanation and commentary of the Mass, and then also an article here about receiving Holy Communion during post-Pentecost, again by Dom Gouranger, talking about the spirituality of the post-Pentecost season and how one's approach and disposition to receive Holy Communion, what one should be thinking about. Then today's homily, so that's the what we saw in the oldroman.com, that's the excerpted homily from my Mass in the morning. Today's meditation, so that will be, as we saw on the oldroman.com, that will be Bishop Richard Challoner's meditation with the words for Sunday. A sermon for Sunday, this is a written by, in this case, Dr. Robert Wilson, who is a cleric, an old Roman cleric, and he writes every week a sermon for this publication. Then there's a video there about Eucharistic miracles and scientific proof. Then, as we looked at earlier, are the saints' days of the week. There's also there an article by me about how to worship online, in other words, how to utilize and pray with the broadcast Mass. You also have there the Old Roman TV schedule for the week. And then under Old Roman culture are various articles of interest for us, as for those who want to follow authentic Catholic tradition. So there we are. So that's the bulletin, the weekly bulletin, the Old Roman, that you can subscribe to there, and you can find it on the Old Roman website. On here, and there we go, weekly bulletin. That's where you go to find that. So let me there we go. So there we are. So you see, being traditional doesn't mean to say that one has to be antiquated in one's approach. And as I've said many times before, it's the attitude that one has to things that makes the difference. Nothing exists for its own end, just for its own end. Everything that exists can be used for God's end, to effect God's will. And so even developments in modern science and technology can be utilized for God's will. And of course, it is God's will that we are saved. How are we saved? We are saved by the authentic Catholic and Apostolic faith. So that's why we utilize all this in order to enable you to know what the Orthodox and authentic Catholic tradition and Apostolic faith is, in order that you may realize your salvation. So, theoldroman.com, please visit it, and you may want to save it, to bookmark it on your browser, so you can click on it every day and read the latest headlines, read the latest devotionals, use them to pray with. You can catch up with, or you can view and hear the daily mass. You can make an act of spiritual communion, etc. It's all there for you, essentially, as a resource for yourselves. Now, Trevor there, if I just take that, signed up, received a confirmation ebook, but haven't received anything since. I think if you mean you've just done that, then you won't get anything until next Sunday, I suspect. It won't automatically send you this week's edition. I think it'll wait till next week and then send you the new edition. Okay, so please do avail yourselves of the website. Check it out, check in every day, and see. Oh, you right, Trevor? I will have a look at that afterwards for you, and just check that you have that it's got you down properly. So please do avail yourselves of the website. It's going to be one of the main focuses, really, of this developing ministry to assist Orthodox Catholics through the crisis in the Church. Information there to educate and to hopefully to inspire. You know, one of the things I find sort of incomprehensible, actually, by so many traditional Catholics seem to be so dour. And as you know, I'm quite a sort of affable, amiable, smiling sort of person. And, you know, I don't think to be a traditional Catholic you have to be always so serious looking and always so dour looking. After all, we have the faith, we have our salvation. Why should we look sad? Why should we look always so serious and so angry? So as well, on theoldroman.com, some of you may remember last year we had a series on Fridays, Friday Night Live, and we can't repeat, unfortunately, that series because we almost got into some trouble over copyright and stuff, because it's very difficult sometimes to know who the right attributions, whatever, should be made to from videos on YouTube, because so many people cut and paste and all the rest of it. So we can't do Friday Night Live as we used to do, but some of you may recall that it was a jolly program, and the whole idea then was The whole idea was to show the lighter side of being a traditional Catholic. There's nothing wrong, there's, if anything, Scripture tells us that we should be joyful, we should be merry, we can have mirth, we can, there is acceptable humour as much as there is bad humour. So too, on the website we will put up perhaps some of the clips and things that we used for that series last year. To look out for that as well. And speaking to which, feel free to send in any clean jokes you may have, particularly if they are sort of relevant to church life, if they are kind of clean observations but funny observations on Christian life, on the church life, then please do send them in. I'm always willing to, always ready to hear a new joke or read a new joke, so they're always welcome. You can private message me those via whichever platform you're watching on, or you can email me. Let me just add my email address to the scroll there. There we are. And likewise too, feel free to email any suggestions for future programs. Now, I've been talking with Father Tom and Brother Stanislaus some ideas for catechetical programs and things, but please, if there is a particular area or topic or subject of interest that you would like us to present on this channel, then please send us emails. I know Trevor, Mr. Humphreys, just then, you've asked before about Latin prayers, so that's in the pipeline, because I intend to kill two birds with one stone with that, because we have at the moment a year of spirituality for vocations, and we're going to touch upon liturgical Latin and pronunciation and things for them, so I want to use the same, more or less the same video for you viewers as well. So we'll take some prayers that are recited frequently, and we will give the Latin, and we will explain how to pronounce them in Latin as well. But I would add that if you join us for the Rosary every day, then you will very quickly pick up the Paternoster, the Lord's Prayer, the Gloria Patri, the Glory Be, and the Ave, the Hail Mary, in Latin, because we alternate during the recitation. We alternate each decade from Latin to English, from Latin to English, and the prayers on the screen. So that's one way of learning the Latin prayers, is simply by joining us for the Rosary. Okay, so that's all I've got for you this week on the domestic church. Please do avail yourselves of the website. Please do feel free to email me. I can't guarantee, please don't expect necessarily a response. I'm extremely busy. That sounds a bit awful to say, but I am really quite busy. So unless it's very important, then generally take it as read. If I feel that I ought or need to get back to you, then I will. But don't be offended if you don't hear from me, or very quickly by return. But please do feel free to email me or private message me any ideas or suggestions you have for programs that you would like us to present on. Okay, so bless you. There's Peggy. Of course, now Peggy, of course, joins us most days for the Rosary, and there you go. You see, my Latin has improved so much praying the Rosary. You see, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Okay, I shall pray a blessing and then leave you in peace for the rest of your Monday. And of course, we will be back next week with Domestic Church. But the next broadcast, of course, will be of the Mass tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Dominus vobiscum, et cum spiritu tuo, sit nomen Domini benedictum, ex hoc nunc et usque in saecula, auditor nostrum in nomine Domini, qui feci caelum et terram, benedicat vos omnipotens Deus, Pater et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, descendet super vos et mane et semper. Amen. God bless you. Thank you for watching, and we will see you online. Take care for now.
Love rejoices in the truth.
Love rejoices in